Can you visit the Yellowstone National Park and come out alive at the end of the day? Well, if you have never been to it, your answer might be a yes. In fact, it's only a national park meant for fun. What can possibly go wrong? This is exactly what tourists and visitors think when they go to Yellowstone National Park. But tragically, they experience one of the worst forms of pain and sometimes death. So what makes this park so deadly, and what horrifying incidents have happened in it? Let's find out. Number 9. Partially consumed body of Lance Crosby found. Lance Crosby, a 63-year-old man from Montana, was a seasoned outdoorsman and a seasonal employee with MedCorp, a company providing medical services within Yellowstone National Park. Despite his experience and familiarity with the park's wilderness, Crosby made the unfortunate decision to hike alone in the backcountry near Lake Village, an area known for its dense bear population. On the day of the incident, Crosby set out on a hike without informing anyone of his exact plans and, crucially, without carrying bear spray, a vital safety tool recommended for anyone hiking in bear territory. Bear spray is a powerful deterrent that can be effective in stopping an aggressive bear and is considered essential gear in Yellowstone, where bear encounters are not uncommon. When Crosby failed to report for work, concerns were raised about his whereabouts. A search was initiated, and 2 days later, park rangers discovered his partially consumed body in a densely wooded area approximately half a mile from the Elephant Back Loop Trail, a popular hiking route near Lake Village. The discovery of his remains, along with evidence found at the scene, suggested that Crosby had been attacked and killed by a grizzly bear. The area showed signs of a struggle, and there were indications that the bear had covered Crosby's body with dirt and debris, a behavior typical of bears attempting to store a kill for later consumption. Further investigation revealed that the bear responsible for the attack was a female grizzly with 2 cubs. The presence of cubs indicated that the bear likely acted defensively, perceiving Crosby as a threat to her young. In such scenarios, mother bears are known to exhibit particularly aggressive behavior to protect their children. Following the recovery of Crosby's body, park officials faced a difficult decision regarding the bear involved. Given the bear's aggressive behavior and the proximity of the incident to a popular trail, the decision was made to euthanize the mother bear to prevent any potential future attacks on humans. The bear was captured using a culvert trap, and DNA testing confirmed that she was the bear involved in the fatal attack. Her 2 cubs were initially captured and evaluated for their ability to survive in the wild. The cubs were deemed too young to survive on their own, and were eventually relocated to a zoo to ensure their survival. Number 8. Colin Scott's body decomposed into a hot spring. In June 2016, a devastating accident claimed the life of 23-year-old Colin Scott from Oregon. Colin was exploring the Norris Geyser Basin with his sister. The Norris Geyser Basin is one of the most hazardous areas in Yellowstone, filled with boiling hot springs, fumaroles, and geysers. These natural features can reach extreme temperatures, creating an environment that is both breathtaking and incredibly dangerous. Despite numerous signs and clearly marked paths meant to keep visitors safe, Colin decided to leave the designated boardwalks. He was reportedly searching for a spot to hot pot, an illegal activity that involves soaking in the park's hot springs. This is strictly forbidden in Yellowstone because the geothermal features are unpredictable, with water temperatures that can exceed 200 degrees Fahrenheit and acidic conditions that pose serious risks. The ground around these hot springs is often thin and fragile, with a deceptive crust that can easily break under a person's weight, exposing scalding water just below the surface. As Colin approached one of the hot springs to check the water's temperature, he stepped off the boardwalk and onto unstable ground. Tragically, Colin slipped on the fragile crust and fell into the boiling, acidic water. The water was reported to be well above 200 degrees Fahrenheit and highly acidic, conditions that are lethal upon contact. Park rangers and emergency responders arrived quickly, but there was little they could do. The extreme heat and acidity of the water meant that Colin's body dissolved rapidly, leaving almost no remains. Number 7. Father and son fell into acidic water. In August 2016, something disturbing happened, resulting in severe burns for both a father and his young son. It happened in the Midway Geyser Basin, one of Yellowstone's most fascinating yet deadly geothermal areas, known for its colorful hot springs and geysers. The father and his young son, visiting the park, stepped off the designated boardwalk that provides a safe pathway around the geothermal features. This boardwalk is crucial for visitor safety as it keeps people away from the dangerously hot and acidic waters. However, the child accidentally fell into a hot spring. These springs can reach temperatures exceeding 190 degrees Fahrenheit, which is capable of causing severe burns within seconds. The father, upon witnessing his child fall, attempted to rescue him. This courageous act led to the father suffering severe burns as well, as he came into direct contact with the extremely hot water. Emergency services responded swiftly. Both the father and son were airlifted from the park to receive medical treatment. They were hospitalized with significant burn injuries. Their condition required extensive medical care, including treatment for severe burns and potentially long-term rehabilitation. Number 6. Bison killing woman. In 2022, a young woman from Ohio was fatally gored by a bison. This incident took place near the Black Sand Basin, an area known for its geothermal features and wildlife. The 25-year-old woman, like many tourists, was fascinated by the sight of a large bison grazing near a boardwalk. Despite clear park rules that require visitors to maintain a distance of at least 25 yards from all large animals, including bison, she chose to move closer to get a better photograph. As the woman moved within just 10 feet of the bison, the animal, sensing a threat, became agitated. Bison, despite their calm behavior, are unpredictable and can become aggressive if they feel threatened. The bison charged at the woman with great speed, stabbing her with its horns and lifting her off the ground before tossing her into the air. The force of the attack caused severe internal injuries. Onlookers watched in shock as the event unfolded, and emergency services were immediately called. Park rangers and first responders arrived on the scene to provide urgent medical care, but the woman's injuries were too severe. She was rushed to a nearby hospital, where she later died from her injuries. Number 5. Torn body found. On July 6, 2011, Brian Matayoshi, a 57-year-old retired pharmacist from Torrance, California, was hiking with his wife Marilyn on the Wapiti Lake Trail in Yellowstone National Park. The Wapiti Lake Trail is a popular route located near the Canyon Village area, known for its scenic views and the possibility of encountering wildlife, including grizzly bears. The couple was experienced in hiking and enjoyed exploring Yellowstone's backcountry trails. As they hiked along the trail, the Matayoshi encountered a female grizzly bear with her cubs. It is important to note that female bears with cubs are especially dangerous because they are highly protective of their young and more likely to perceive humans as threats. Any normal movement can be seen as a threat because a female bear never leaves anything to chance. In this case, the bear felt threatened by the presence of the Matayoshi, even though the couple had no intention of harming her or her cubs. But bears cannot sense intentions, they just see and react. Upon noticing the grizzly and her cubs approximately 100 yards away, the Matayoshi attempted to back away slowly, following the general advice for bear encounters. However, the bear began to charge. According to reports, Brian Matayoshi and his wife tried to run to escape the charging bear. Unfortunately, running can trigger a predatory response in bears, causing them to chase and potentially attack. As the couple fled, the bear caught up to Brian and knocked him down. The grizzly bear moved to maul him severely. Meanwhile, Marilyn, in an attempt to escape, tripped and fell to the ground. Surprisingly, the bear stopped attacking Brian and momentarily approached Marilyn. Instead of attacking her, the bear sniffed her and then turned away, likely interpreting her stillness as non-threatening behavior. Marilyn sustained no physical injuries during the encounter, but witnessed the horrific attack on her husband. Park rangers were alerted to the incident shortly after it occurred. Emergency responders arrived quickly on the scene, but sadly, Brian Matayoshi had already succumbed to the injuries he sustained from the mauling. In the wake of the attack, park officials closed the Wapiti Lake Trail and surrounding areas to visitors to conduct a thorough investigation and ensure public safety. During the investigation, it was determined that the bear involved in the attack acted in a defensive manner, likely feeling threatened by the proximity of the Matayoshi to her cubs. The investigation found no evidence that the bear had sought out humans as prey, and her actions were consistent with those of a mother bear protecting her young. Number 4. Tourist's body getting cooked. In 2019, a male tourist from Washington state suffered severe burns after falling into a hot spring near the Old Faithful geyser. The tourist, exploring the area at night, chose to leave the safety of the designated boardwalk to get a closer look at the geothermal activity, a decision that led to devastating consequences. Yellowstone's thermal areas are particularly treacherous at night when visibility is poor, and it becomes challenging to differentiate between stable ground from thin, fragile crusts covering scalding water. The boardwalks in these areas are carefully placed to guide visitors safely through the geothermal zones, where the earth can be deceptively thin and brittle. Unfortunately, as the tourist stepped off the boardwalk, he unknowingly walked onto unstable ground and fell into a hot spring. The boiling water caused severe burns to his lower body, resulting in excruciating pain. Park rangers later discovered the injured man in a thermal area, and he was promptly taken to receive medical attention. Number 3. 9-year-old girl tossed in air. On July 26, 2019, a serious wildlife incident unfolded near Old Faithful in Yellowstone National Park, involving a 9-year-old girl from Odessa, Florida. The 9-year-old girl was part of a group of around 50 people who had gathered near a bull bison. The group was reported to have been within 10 feet of the bison for approximately 20 minutes. This close proximity to the bison is considered dangerous. Bison are large, powerful animals and can become agitated if they feel their space is being encroached upon, particularly during the summer months when they may be more unpredictable. The proximity of the group was a critical factor in the incident. Despite the park's regulations and safety guidelines, the group's behavior disregarded the recommended distance for observing wildlife. Park officials stress that maintaining a safe distance of at least 25 yards from bison is crucial to avoid provoking them. This distance helps ensure that both visitors and animals remain safe from potentially dangerous interactions. The situation escalated when the bull bison, which was already agitated, charged at the group. In a sudden and aggressive action, the bison tossed the 9-year-old girl into the air. The impact from the bison's charge resulted in serious injuries to the child. Bison, with their substantial strength and weight, can cause severe injuries with their charges, as demonstrated in this incident. Immediately following the incident, the girl's parents acted swiftly to get medical help. They transported her to the Old Faithful Lodge, where park emergency medical providers were stationed. The medical team at the lodge conducted an initial assessment and provided immediate care to stabilize her condition. Given the severity of the situation, quick and effective medical intervention was crucial. After the initial treatment at the lodge, the girl was taken to the Old Faithful clinic for further evaluation and care. Fortunately, she was treated and released from the clinic the same day. Number 2. David Kerwin, dissolved into acid. On July 20, 1981, David Kerwin and his friend Ronald Ratliff were visiting Yellowstone's Fountain Paint Pot area in the Lower Geyser Basin. They were accompanied by Ratliff's dog, Moosey. As they approached the Celestine Pool, a particularly beautiful but perilous hot spring, Moosey somehow escaped their vehicle and ran towards the spring. The Celestine Pool, like many hot springs in Yellowstone, is known for its stunning clear blue water, which belies the fact that it can reach temperatures around 200 degrees Fahrenheit or even higher. Tragically, Moosey jumped into the Celestine Pool, likely unaware of the danger. Reacting instinctively, Kerwin immediately ran towards the pool in a desperate attempt to save the dog. Despite warnings from other nearby visitors to stay back, Kerwin ignored the dangers and jumped into the hot spring to rescue Moosey. The moment he entered the water, he began to scream in agony from the intense heat. Ratliff, Kerwin's friend, tried to pull him out of the hot spring with the help of other tourists. They managed to get him out of the pool, but the damage had already been done. Kerwin suffered third-degree burns over nearly 100% of his body, including his head, torso, arms, and legs. His injuries were so severe that his skin began peeling off as they pulled him from the water, and his eyes were reported to have turned a milky white from the intense heat. Emergency responders quickly arrived on the scene, and Kerwin was transported by ambulance to the Old Faithful Clinic for initial treatment. Given the extent of his burns, he was soon flown by helicopter to a hospital in Salt Lake City, Utah, that specialized in burn treatment. Despite the best efforts of medical professionals, Kerwin succumbed to his injuries and passed away the next day, on July 21, 1981. Moosey the dog also did not survive the incident. The extreme heat of the Celestine pool proved fatal, and there was no chance of rescuing the animal from the scalding water. Number 1. Bizarre hypothermia. Death. On January 28, 2015, a man's body was found under mysterious circumstances. Snowshoers who were exploring the park noticed what appeared to be a frozen body in the snow. They promptly called 911 around noon on Saturday, January 24th, upon realizing the gravity of the situation. The location where the body was found was near the Frog Rock Trailhead. This area is situated south of the Grand Loop Road, approximately 8.5 miles east of Mammoth Hot Springs. The trailhead is a popular access point for winter sports enthusiasts, and the groomed ski trails are maintained for cross-country skiing and snowshoeing. Park rangers responded to the report and arrived at the scene to investigate. They located the body of the deceased man not far from the ski trail along Blacktail Plateau Drive. The remote location and the time of year posed challenges for the rangers and the subsequent investigation. The initial assessment by the rangers indicated that the man had likely succumbed to hypothermia. Hypothermia is a condition that occurs when the body loses heat faster than it can produce it, leading to a dangerously low body temperature. In the harsh winter conditions of Yellowstone, hypothermia can set in rapidly if a person is inadequately dressed or becomes stranded. The specifics of how the man ended up in such a dire situation remain unclear. It is not immediately known why he was on the ski trail or what led to his exposure to the extreme cold. Investigators focused on determining whether the man had been skiing or snowshoeing and whether there were any factors that contributed to his hypothermic state. What do you think? What incident would have been most painful for the tourist who experienced the pain? Do you believe warning signs work in a lethal park like this one? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section right below on whether you have ever visited Yellowstone National Park and saw things going wrong there. Would you like to watch more videos on horrific incidents, accidents, and unfortunate mishaps that people go through, increasing your adrenaline level? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We bring thrilling videos on disasters and calamities which you should avoid. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.